All right, let's dive right in. We're looking at the Pinellas County real estate market for July 2025. And honestly, what's happening is pretty fascinating. It's not just one market. It's like we're watching two completely different stories unfold at the exact same time.
And just so you know, all this great info comes to us from the folks at RE/MAX Metro, who are right there in the heart of it all, serving Tampa Bay from their headquarters in St. Pete.
You know, the phrase they used to describe it really hits the nail on the head. A tale of two very different stories. And the secret to understanding everything is to think about single-family homes and condo/townhouses as two separate things, because believe me, they are moving in totally opposite directions.
Okay, so before we get into the first half of this story, let's get on the same page with a term you'll hear a lot: balanced market. What is it? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. A stable market where things are, even-steven. Neither buyers nor sellers really have a big advantage. The key word here, predictable. Now, on the flip side, you've got a buyer's market. This is the complete opposite. It happens when there are way more homes for sale than there are people looking to buy. And what does that mean for buyers? Oh, it means you've got choices, and even better, you've got power when it comes to negotiating. Definitely hang on to that thought, because it's going to be huge for the second part of our story.
All right, let's jump into part one, the single-family home story. We're calling this one a tale of stability, and once you see the numbers, you'll get exactly why.
So, for single-family homes, everything just screams stability. First off, look at the inventory. We're at 5 months supply. For anyone who follows this stuff, you know that's right in that 4 to 6 month sweet spot. It's the definition of a healthy, balanced market.
And that stability, it shows up in the price tag too. The median sold price is holding firm at $420,000. It's a nice, solid number that tells you exactly what to expect.
Things are moving along at a really good pace, too. 41 days on the market. That's the median. So homes aren't just sitting around collecting dust. But as a buyer, you're not in a crazy rush either. You've actually got time to think and make a good decision.
And this right here, this is the number that really pulls it all together. 96%. Homes are selling on average for 96% of what they were listed for. That just reinforces everything we've been saying. This market is stable, it's firm, and it's predictable.
Okay, so take everything we just talked about and get ready for a totally different story. We're switching gears to part two, the condo and townhouse market. And if the first story was about stability, this one is, well, it's a world of opportunity.
And boom, right out of the gate, you see how different this is. Remember the 5 months of inventory for houses? Forget that. For condos and townhouses, we're looking at a huge 9.24 months of supply. We're not dipping our toes in a buyer's market here. We are deep in it.
And just to put that into perspective, because that number is wild, condo inventory is up 214% compared to last year. A 214% surge. That's a flood of options, and it gives buyers an absolutely incredible amount of choice and leverage.
So with all that inventory just sitting there, what happens to the price? Exactly what you'd expect. The median sold price is $249,000. That's a much more affordable way to get into the Pinellas County market.
And because of all that supply, these places are taking longer to sell. We're talking a median of 72 days on the market. For a buyer, that longer timeline is gold. It means more time to look, more breathing room, and, you guessed it, a lot more power when you sit down to negotiate.
And here's the final proof that buyers have the upper hand. The sold-to-list price ratio is 94%. Remember how it was 96% for houses? That 2% difference might not sound like much, but it's a huge signal that there is way more wiggle room on price. Sellers are definitely more willing to make a deal.
Okay, so we've got these two totally different markets. What in the world does this mean for you? Well, it all comes down to your strategy, and that depends completely on which of these two paths you're walking.
Let's just lay it all out, side by side. For single-family homes, you've got a balanced market. Negotiating power is pretty even. But for condos and townhouses, it is a straight-up buyer's market. So, if you're a seller, this is crucial. If you're selling a house, things are steady. If you're selling a condo, you've got to be flexible. That's the name of the game.
So let's boil it all down. What are the big takeaways here? 1. The single-family market is your stable, predictable player. 2.
The condo market is a full-blown buyer's market, swimming in inventory and giving buyers all the power. And what does that mean? For buyers, you've got a major advantage in that condo space. And for condo sellers? I'll say it again, flexibility on your price and your terms is everything. It's not just important, it's essential.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? We've got these two markets moving in completely opposite directions. So you have to ask yourself which path is the right one for you. Which one gets you where you want to go?
Of course, everyone's situation is a little different, right? That's why the experts who put this data together, RE/MAX Metro, really recommend talking to a local pro. They can give you advice that's tailored specifically for you and your journey. Thanks for joining me on this one.